Was there any moment where either of you said, I don't know if I want to slip on a maid's uniform each and every day and go to work for this movie?
Not for that specific reason. I was excited about the fact that the story was being told from this perspective.
The perspective of what?
The African American maids in the 60s. Because prior to then, or prior to this moment, all of literature and the majority of films where we are represented during that time period is pretty much as facilitators of information, not really, not much depth, and we definitely didn't have a voice. So this was a different type of film.
I had trepidation because I feel a great responsibility depicting images of black women that I feel are derogatory.
Hold on, those are Miss Hillis.
I love creating characters that are complicated and that have layers, but I didn't necessarily believe that people would get Aibileen because of that.
I'd like to do a book of interviews about working for white families. And we could show what it's like to work for, say, Elizabeth.
You know what Miss Leaf would do to me if she knew I was telling stories on her?
Well, I was thinking that we wouldn't have to tell her.
Was there any one person who you really drew upon, or was it sort of this amalgamation of ladies?
For me, amalgamation, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, filming in Mississippi, which 2 miles from the Tallahatchie River, where the body of Emmett Till was found in Money, Mississippi, 6 miles down the river, 12 miles from Indianola, the birthplace of the White Citizens Council, and then being in a movie that is set in 1961. Yeah, you're swallowing some pretty heavy-duty emotions on a day-to-day basis.
You were cognizant of your geographic location and the historic significance.
You know, I think that people forget, too, how much you felt invisible when you were a person of color. So you go through years and years and generations of feeling invisible, generations of not exploring one's dreams and hopes. And then you have a whole cyclical pattern of generations just kind of doing what their mothers did and what their grandmothers did. And what's so wonderful about this movie is someone comes into the midst of that.
All right, I'm gonna do it. But I need to make sure she understands this ain't no game we playing here. I think it definitely informed the performances. It helped to bring about the angst, anger, all the gamut of emotions that you go through. And it also built a great bond between not only Viola and myself, but our white counterparts, because we all were uncomfortable.
These women raise white children. We love them and they love us, but they can't even use the toilets in our houses.
Minnie, are you in there? You are fired!
I had read that there were still homes in Greenwood, Mississippi, where they would still have help, African-American women dressed up in maid uniforms from head to toe. And did you see that while you were filming there?
Constantly, absolutely.
Was that surreal at all?
You can find that
Los
anywhere.
Angeles, Greenwood, Mississippi. There's help today.
Yeah, there's everybody's help. I'm help.
The new help is defined by Mexicans and Guatemalans,
Right.
and, you know, we see it all the time. We see it in New York City with the nannies pushing the carts in Central Park West and Park Avenue. It's just the way it is.
Thought I might write my stories down and read them to you. And no different than writing down my prayers.
Let's talk about the evolution of the Miss Skeeter and Aibileen. Describe that relationship and how it evolved through the film.
And I think that I really start beginning to trust Skeeter when she asked me if I ever dreamt about being anything else.
Did you know as a girl growing up that one day you'd be a maid?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Do you ever dream of being something else?
I mean, my father passed away, and he groomed and trained horses for 25 years, and he hated it. And I never asked him what his dreams were, ever.
Do you regret that?
Absolutely. And I think that when Skeeter asked Aibileen, who's 51 years old, born in 1911, the granddaughter of a house slave, did you ever dream of being anything else? I think that that throws her for a loop.
Why is this movie relevant for us? Like, what is the takeaway?
The relevance is, I think it's teaching people to find within themselves the courage to change, affect change in their own lives.
And sometimes you have to dare not to fit in. You know, dare to, you know, tap into something bigger than yourself in life. These characters are so humanized, and they go on a journey, and they're ordinary women who become these extraordinary people by the end of this story.